Massive update in relation to Scott McTominay's proposed move to Napoli. PSG make proposal to Manchester United for Manuel Ugarte, and Barcelona apparently interested in signing Marcus Rashford this summer. These are some of the stories we will be discussing on this morning's show. But before we get into that, please do me one small favour. Smash a like on today's video. Let's try and see 1,000 likes on this episode. And if this is your first time watching, please subscribe to the channel. I'm live every single day at 8:30, 1:30 and 6. If you want to keep up to date with all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk, make sure you get involved. It's completely free content and everyone is welcome. Right. Let's get straight on into it then, shall we? Because there's so much news to go through this morning. I'm just going to start firing it out, and let's go with... What shall I start with? Let's start with the left-back situation, shall we? Because I think this is a topic that most people have an opinion on, and I like to try and make it interactive. I like to get you guys' opinions on things. I like to see how the community is feeling. And the question I've got for you today is, should Manchester United be signing a new left-back this summer? And if so, who should that left-back be? I want you to let me know in the comments section. How important is a new left-back for you? We'll do a poll right now so for anybody watching live, obviously you can get involved in the poll. Anybody watching back on repeat, you can do it that way. The question is going to be this: do Manchester United need a new left-back this summer? There you go. Remember, we don't have an endless amount of money, so if we get a new left-back, it might mean that we don't get another midfielder, or it might mean, how does everybody feel about it? Like, how far up your priority list is a left-back? Now, the reason I bring this up is the Athletic are reporting that apparently Manchester United are not going to sign a new left-back this summer, which I think is a little bit surprising. Obviously, left-back was a massive issue for us last season. Obviously, Malacia disappeared off the face of the earth. Luke Shaw would play 2 games, then get injured for 3 months, play 2 games, then get injured for 3 months. But obviously, we have just signed Mazraoui. He can play at left-back. We have got Harry Amas now. He's been promoted to the first team. So effectively, we have got 2 new left-backs, if you look at it like that. Obviously, Dalot can play at left-back as well. And also Martinez can play at left-back. He was injured for most of last season. So if you look at it like that, we have effectively got 3 players now available to us who weren't available last year who can operate in the left-back position. You've got Martinez, Harry Amas, and Mazraoui. So when you look at it like that, do we desperately need a new left-back? I'm not sure. I think it's definitely a position that we need to look to strengthen in the near future. Because whatever you think of Luke Shaw, right? Even if you put his injuries aside and you say Luke Shaw isn't injury prone, which he is, Luke Shaw is 29. He's 30 next year. Like, for me, Luke Shaw is at the end of his career. On his day, he's a great left-back, but his day is few and far between. I saw a crazy stat a couple of days ago that since Luke Shaw joined Manchester United, he's missed about 50% of our games. Now, obviously, I know he had that horrible leg injury, didn't he? Was it a break? Or I don't know. It was disgusting. I remember watching live and his leg literally bent backwards, didn't it? So I think ever since then, it's been a bit of a rocky road for Luke Shaw, hasn't it? And the thing I always circle back to is why Manchester United thought giving Luke Shaw a new contract last season. Like, what went through their heads when they made that decision? In April 2023, his contract was, I think, going to run out the following summer, and they decided that they were going to give him a new deal, a 4-year contract on massive wages at the age of, he was 28 then. I don't understand that decision at all, especially when you look at before that, his injuries up until that point, right? It's not like he's just been injury prone for 1 season. Luke Shaw's been injury prone for probably about 5 years. I don't remember the last time he went a whole year without being injured. It probably literally has been about 5 years. I'm going to get the stats up now because I think it's an interesting topic to look through. But the point I'm trying to make here is, I think it feels like we need a new left back. It feels like, bringing someone in would make a lot of logical sense. But would that then tarnish Harry Amas's development? Maybe. What would that mean for Mazraoui? Because the way I see it now, Diogo Dalot is the first choice left back for me going forward, and Mazraoui is the first choice right back. Mazraoui did not look like a player who had only just signed in his debut against Fulham. He trained for like 3 days and he was one of, if not the best players on the pitch, Mazraoui. And he'd literally only trained for 3 days prior to that. So I think Mazraoui's only going to get better and better and better. Dalot, I think Dalot's improved massively over the last couple of years, and I think he's probably good enough to, to start at left back or right back or wherever Eric Ten Hag sees him fit. But you look at Luke Shaw's stats, right? So since 2020, he missed 23 games, then 20, then another 20, then 34. So over the last 4 years, he's missed 20 or more games pretty much every single season without fail. And then he got given a new contract. And now we're in this situation where logistically signing a new left back doesn't make any sense, because we've got Luke Shaw, we've got Malacia, you've got Mazraoui, you've got Dalot, you've got Harry Amas, and you've got Martinez who can play at left back. You've got 6 players who can play in the left back position, but we still feel like it's an area of concern. But Manchester United can't justify going spending, 30, 40, 50 million on a left back, whether that's Ferdi Kadioglu, whether that's Kierkeres from Bournemouth. Like, these are all the people that we're linked to, but I don't think Man United can justify it. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the results of this poll are like. Do you think we need a new left back? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. My thoughts are this. I think we do, but I just don't think it's realistic at the moment. I think, whilst you've still got Luke Shaw, whilst you've still got Malacia, like, we can't logistically warrant paying for another left back and paying the wages of another left back. Because if you look at Manchester United's wages already, right? Luke Shaw is on about 150k a week. Malacia, let me have a look. Let me get up the stats for you quickly. Luke Shaw is on 150k a week, yeah. Malacia is on 75k a week. So already we're paying out 225k a week for those two players. Mazraoui, I think, is on about 100. Dalot's on about 100. So, like, currently our left back position, we've probably got 6 or 7 players, and we're paying over £500,000 a week in wages, and we're still unhappy with what we've got. And that's where my frustration lies. But I don't really see how it can be solved, because no one's going to buy Luke Shaw, and he's got 3 years left of his contract. He is injury prone. I think everyone would agree with that now. He is 100% injury prone. And the only way I can see us buying like a starting left back is if Luke Shaw was sold. Because if Malacia goes, he was never going to be a starting left back anyway, So, yeah, Luke Shaw is effectively the person who we need to move on, but I just don't see how we're going to move him on, to be honest, with his current injury record. But, yeah, you can let me know your thoughts on that in the comment section. I thought it was quite an interesting topic to start the show with, to see how everybody's feeling about the left back position and, see what the priorities are and stuff. But let's move on from that, and let's jump on over to Scott McTominay. So this story is coming out from an Italian journalist called Alfredo Padula. He was very good last summer around Rasmus Højlund and Amrabat and all of those other players who were playing in the Serie A. And he is reporting this morning that Napoli are now working to complete the signing of Scott McTominay regardless of the attacking issue. He says that McTominay wants to work with Antonio Conte and has said yes to Napoli. I hope that this deal goes through. I think it makes a lot of sense for everybody. I think it's an incredible move for Scott McTominay. I think if Manchester United can get the 30 million euros that's being mentioned in the press this morning, I think that will also go a long way in our financial fair play, PSR kind of situation that we find ourselves in. Fabrizio Romano says that Scott McTominay deal is still a possibility for Napoli, and United are asking for a 30 million euros package. So Fabrizio's confirmed the same story that McTominay is in talks with Napoli. It's still a possibility for Napoli, and that Manchester United have asked for 30 million. So it's definitely one to keep an eye on. There is 9 days left of the window now. The window closes a week on Friday. So, if we're going to get this deal done, we've got to be relatively quick with it, because we need to make sure that we have a replacement, although Manuel Ugarte is probably going to be the replacement for McTominay, isn't he? So you can kind of see how this would materialise over the next week. Napoli come in for McTominay, they buy him, and then we go and get Manuel Ugarte. So yeah, I think overall, if we can get that deal done, I'll be very, very happy. Keeping on the topic of Napoli though, quickly, Fabrizio Romano is reporting in the last couple of hours that apparently Napoli are in talks with Fiorentina to sign Sofian Amrabat. Now, I don't know whether this affects the McTominay deal. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I'm not going to pretend I know the answer, but I hope it doesn't. Imagine this scenario, right? Amrabat goes to Napoli, Manuel Ugarte stays at PSG, and we're stuck with McTominay. That's the stuff of nightmares, I think. And I know some people are like, "Oh, you're being cruel on McTominay." I've got no problem whatsoever having McTominay as a bench player, an impact sub, to come on in the last 5 minutes of the game and try and get us a goal. But the rest of the time, he's just not, for me, he's just not the player. So yeah, we'll wait and see whether, Napoli end up going for McTominay, if they go for Amrabat, that would obviously be a massive kick in the teeth for Manchester United, I think. Not that Manchester United really seem to want Amrabat. I've said this for months, right? If we wanted Sofian Amrabat, we would have signed him like at the beginning of the transfer window. We had the opportunity to sign him for 20 million euros, release clause. We said no. And then we had the opportunity to renegotiate further throughout the window, and we just haven't done it. So as much as Amrabat seems like a logical signing, he's so far down the priority list at the moment. I just don't think the Manchester United actually want him, which is fair, I guess. It's not really the kind of player that fits into the Ineos model. Like, Ineos want players under the age of 25, and Amrabat, I think, is 29 this year. So he is kind of coming towards the twilight. Yeah, it's Amrabat's birthday today, actually. Amrabat turns 28 today, sorry. It's literally Amrabat's birthday today. So happy birthday to Amrabat. Yeah, so I'll be honest, like, I'm not massively bothered if we get Amrabat or not at this stage. I think at the beginning of the summer, I was quite excited about the prospect of it because I thought, he could do a full pre-season. He wasn't going to obviously go to the Euros or the Copa America. Like, it would have made a lot of sense. You could have had him on the pre-season tour, but we're a week away from the window closing. And if Amrabat's going to be our midfield signing, it would be a little bit confusing because I'd say, why did they not just do this a month ago, I understand why Manuel Ugarte has taken so long because they're trying to negotiate a price. Whereas the situation with Amrabat is very different. He's got 1 year left on his contract. He wants to leave Fiorentina. And we could have signed him like 4 to 6 weeks ago for 20 million euros really easily. So yeah, the longer the time has gone on, the less I'm bothered that we haven't signed Sofian Amrabat is what I'm saying. But we've got over 1,000 people watching the video live now, which is amazing. If everyone could do me a small favour and smash a like, that'd be really, really appreciated. We've only got 200 likes on the video so far. If everyone could like right now, we should be able to hit our target of 1,000. And if this is your first time watching, please do subscribe to the channel as well. We're very, very close to 40,000 subscribers. Once we hit 40,000, I'm going to be doing a giveaway. I like to do giveaways on this channel. I like to give back for you supporting this community. So when we hit 40k, I will be giving away 2 brand new Manchester United shirts. So make sure you go and subscribe, get involved. Everyone is welcome. Right. Okay, let's move on from that though. And let's jump on over to... Let's talk about Marcus Rashford, shall we? And let's do a poll. Why not? And we're going to say this. Should Manchester United sell Marcus Rashford this summer? It's going to be simple. So in relation to the last poll, 65% of people watching the video today think we should sign a new left-back, and 35% of people think we shouldn't. Fair enough. So it seems like most people think we need a new left-back. Should United sell Rashford this summer? Obviously, anybody who's watching back on repeat, you can't get involved in the polls. The polls are only for live viewers. So you can let me know in the comments. Should Manchester United sell Rashford this summer? Okay, let's go through the news on Marcus Rashford then, shall we? So this is being reported by multiple different Spanish outlets. It came out late last night. Let's get the story up for you quickly. So the story is this. It's on Sky Sports as well. It's on various different Barcelona websites. That apparently Hansi Flick has specifically asked for Marcus Rashford as their next summer signing after failing to sign Nico Williams from Athletic Bilbao. So this is being quite widely reported. It hasn't been picked up by like the Fabrizios and stuff yet, but the thing you have to remember is, right, Fabrizio only really posts about these types of things once it's actually like a lot further down the line. At the moment, it's just the story saying that apparently Barcelona want to sign Marcus Rashford, and apparently Hansi Flick has identified him as an alternative option to what's he called? I just said his name. My brain's gone. Nico Williams. Yeah, obviously they tried to sign Nico Williams from Athletic Bilbao. That deal didn't go through. So Barcelona are now looking for an attacking player to strengthen their squad. Now, the thing I don't really understand about this is, right, how are Barcelona going to be able to afford Marcus Rashford? I swear Barcelona are absolutely skint, aren't they? I swear they've got no money at all. I might be wrong, but my understanding of the situation at Barcelona is it's a complete mess. Like an absolute mess. You know, they're in debt. They can't buy players. They can't even register players. So, I don't know. It's a difficult one, really. I mean, if Barcelona genuinely wanted Marcus Rashford, I personally would move him on. Somebody says no one can afford or pay his wages. I mean, have you seen Barcelona's wage bill? I don't really know where you're getting your information from, my friend, because if anybody could pay Marcus Rashford's wages, it's Barcelona. Have you honestly not looked at Barcelona's wages before? It's absolutely crazy. Barcelona currently pay Frankie de Jong £700,000 a week, right? Marcus Rashford is currently on, at Manchester United, £300,000 a week. So Frankie de Jong nearly earns 2.5 times what Rashford does. Robert Lewandowski earns £650,000 a week, so over double what Rashford's on. Gundogan earns £360,000 a week, so more than Rashford. They've got 4 or 5 players in their squad who earn double what Rashford does. And then they've also got maybe 5 or 6 players who earn around the same amount. I mean, Rafinha is on £250,000 a week at Barcelona. Rafinha. That's just absolutely mental. And I think this story is obviously going to make Man United linked to Frankie de Jong again. It's bound to happen. And what looks like it's going to happen here is obviously Ilkay Gundogan is leaving Barcelona. That's one of the strangest deals I think I've ever seen. So they bought Gundogan for, what was it, 20 million last summer? They've now said they don't want Gundogan and they're pushing him out of the club. And Gundogan is now set to rejoin Man City for free. Like, how have Man City got so lucky there? They sell a player for 20 million. He joins Barcelona on a 3-year contract. He plays at Barcelona for 1 season. And then Barcelona turn around and say, we don't want him. He can leave for free. So Gundogan's now set to rejoin to join Man City for free. I don't understand it. It is so strange. They're one of the most weirdly run football clubs ever. We think Chelsea are badly run, but it's very, very strange. Now, do I think this will happen? Gono says it's €700,000, not pounds. The actual wages that he's on is €721,000 per week, Gono, which if you convert that to pounds, which I'll do for you now, because is just under 700,000. And he also has bonuses, which could see him get up to over $1 million a week, Frankie de Jong. The point I was making is people saying that Barcelona wouldn't be able to afford Marcus Rashford's wages. Of course they would. Especially if Gundogan's leaving. Because Gundogan currently earns more than what Rashford does anyway. So, yeah, the bit that I'm questioning is where would they get the money for the fee? Like, that's the bit that I don't understand, you know? Where would they get the money to pay Manchester United, what, 50, 60, 70 million pounds? It doesn't make any sense. That's the bit that I can't get my head around. Ben says, would you do a swap deal for Frankie de Jong? Oh, would I swap Rashford for Frankie de Jong? Would I swap prime Rashford for Frankie de Jong? No. Would I swap Rashford at the moment for Frankie de Jong? Probably yes. So it's a little bit of a... I've kind of cheated there in my answer. But if Rashford's in form, like he was 2 seasons ago, scoring 30 goals, winning us football matches, I think he's definitely worth keeping. But last season, obviously, he was not up to it. And I think it all depends on the attitude from Rashford. If he's in the right headspace, if he's working hard, if he's tracking back, if he's, trying, if he's actually trying, then I would keep Rashford. But at the moment, I still am unsure whether he's happy. I don't know. I mean, none of us are going to know. None of us are going to know that. Like, how are we supposed to know whether Marcus Rashford's head's in the right place? It's impossible. We can speculate, we can, give our opinions, we can make assumptions, but only Marcus Rashford, his family, his friends will know where his head is currently at. I haven't seen a massive change in him, but I don't know. I think even when he was scoring loads of goals, he kind of still had the same, demeanour. He's quite quiet, he's quite reserved. So I don't know. It's impossible to say. But would I keep Marcus Rashford if he's going to get back to where he was? 100%, because I think he's a quality player on his day. The problem I've had with Rashford is more to do with his attitude. It's more to do with his, his willingness to track back, his willingness to follow his runners, to put in tackles. It's more those kind of things. And some people might say, he's an attacking player. He shouldn't have to do that. But in the modern game of football, as you can see in Pep Guardiola's sides, every single player has to work hard. Otherwise, we just get cut through like butter. And I think, Rashford has been at fault quite a lot last time. Jacob says Rashford doesn't even have his prime performances anymore. He has lost his own personal motivation. Yeah, I would agree with that to somewhat. I would agree with that somewhat. I don't think Rashford's quality is up for debate because he is a quality player. I think for me, it's his willingness, his mentality, his desire. It's all of the worst things that you can criticize in a footballer. I think personally, those are the worst kind of comments that a football fan can make, because people will say, "Oh, he's rubbish" and all the rest of it. Marcus Rashford isn't rubbish. He's skillful. He's quick. He's good at shooting. He goes past players. He's a flair player. Marcus Rashford is a good footballer. He is. The problem with Rashford is, as people are saying in the chat, willingness, desire, motivation, headspace, mentality. Like, those are all the things that are wrong with him. And he'll probably, I don't know if he'll know that himself. Yeah, so we'll wait and see what happens with that one. At the moment, I probably think the likelihood of this happening is relatively slim. But you never know in football. You never know. When there's clubs like Chelsea and Barcelona operating who do mad things, like, anything could happen. Anything could happen, especially with the fact that obviously Barcelona missed out on Williams. Ganesh says we should swap him for Pedri. I don't think Barcelona would do that. Darren says I don't think we'll be able to get a replacement for Rashford, so let's see how he goes this season. Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. It's a fair point, but we have got quite a lot of wingers though. Remember, you've got Sancho, you've got Garnacho, you've got Ahmad, you've got Anthony. Bruno's played on the wing before. Like, even if Rashford left, you've still got 5 or 6 players who can play on the wing. So we may not even need to desperately sign another winger like immediately. We probably would, but whether we actually need to or not, that's a whole conversation for another day. Right, let's move on from that, though, and let's move over to Manuel Ugarte then, shall we? Because there's more and more stories coming out about Ugarte. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm getting absolutely sick to death with this Manuel Ugarte stuff. I really am. I felt a massive weight lift off my back like a couple of weeks ago when Man United supposedly walked away. Because we've literally been linked to this guy. When did the Copa America start? Let's have a look. Oh, fuck. Copa America fixtures. We've literally been linked to him for 2 months, would you say? So the first game of the Copa America was on the 20th of June. And we're now on the 21st of August. And we were linked to him before the Copa America. So it's literally been going on for like 2 months now, 2.5 months. It feels to me like it's the Frankie de Jong saga of 2 years ago, where we literally spent all summer chasing a target. And all I hope now is that Manchester United get their man. Because otherwise, we're going to be left scratching our heads, aren't we? We're going to be sat here saying, why the hell did we not get him? What's happened? Why did we not go for someone else? Why didn't we get Amrabat? Why didn't we get Sander Berg? Like, we need a midfielder. We'd all agree on that, right? Whether Manuel Ugarte is the right player, none of us will know until he joins. It's impossible to say. We can all have an opinion. We can all predict what's going to happen. But we have to trust Ineos. We have to trust the scouts. And if they think that Manuel Ugarte is the best person, I trust them. And I'm excited to see him play. But the point I'm making here is Manuel Ugarte was clearly the number one target for Manchester United, right? Would we all agree on that? We've been trying to do this deal for the whole summer. And we have, a week left of the window, just over. We need to get this deal over the line. But the latest this morning, so this is coming out from multiple different people, is that apparently PSG are willing to do a loan, but they want 10 million euros up front. And then Manchester United have to pay... let me just get the story up. So this is coming out from multiple different people. And it says that PSG have made a proposal to Manchester United for the chance to sign Manuel Ugarte on a season-long loan with an obligation to buy at the end. It says United would prefer to buy Ugarte now, but there still remains a large gap in valuation. Apparently, Manchester United is still 10 million euros apart. So, effectively, PSG want 60 million euros. Manchester United want to pay 50 million euros. I think 50 million, to be honest, is more than fair. And the biggest kind of frustration here for me is that PSG got ripped off last summer by Sporting Lisbon. They paid... Let me just get the price up. Let me just double check my prices are right. Yes, that's correct. Last summer, his valuation was about 50 million, right? Manuel Ugarte. And PSG paid 60 million for him. Now, PSG want to claw back all of the money that they got. All the money that they spent on him last summer. And if you go on Transfer Market as an example, which I think is usually pretty reliable, I think, for transfer fees. It says his value's 45 million euros, which I would agree with. I don't think he's worth more than 50 million euros. I think he's probably worth 40 million euros would be a good deal. 45 would probably be a fair, and 50 million would probably be a push. That's what I think. So the fact of the matter here is, right, PSG overpaid for Manuel Ugarte 12 months ago. Manuel Ugarte hasn't worked at PSG. He's been on the bench for most of the summer. He's a quality player, but they've got so many options in that midfield role, PSG. Obviously, they've just signed João Neves as well. If you look at their midfield options, right, they've already got João Neves. They've got Warren Zaire-Emery, who plays every game for them. He's like the PSG equivalent of Kobe Mainoo, come through the youth academy. They've got Vitinha, who starts for them every week. So their midfield three is going to be Warren Zaire-Emery, Vitinha, and João Neves, right? We'll all agree on that. And then they've also got, in midfield options, they've got that Kangin Lee guy who seems to play quite a lot for them. They've got Carlos Soler, Fabian Ruiz, and a couple of other people as well. So their midfield is absolutely stacked. They've got at the moment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They've got 12 midfielders, PSG. 12. That's including central midfielders, defensive midfielders, and attacking midfielders. If you compare that with Manchester United, right, we've got Eriksen, Hannibal, who's going to leave. Both of those could leave. Like, our first choice midfielders are McTominay, Casemiro, Bruno, Mount, and Mainoo. And then, we've got probably like 5 or 6 first choice midfielders in and around our squad. Whereas PSG have literally got, as I said, 12 midfielders who are all fighting for 3 positions on the pitch. So PSG need to get rid of him. And the thing which frustrates me the most, I was looking back on some of our transfer fees yesterday. I think it was 2 summers ago. Or sorry, not 2 summers ago. It was years ago. 4 or 5 years ago, we bought Angel Di Maria, didn't we? And everyone was like in absolute hysteria. This is amazing, amazing signing. We spent 75 million euros on Angel Di Maria from Real Madrid, right? He came, it didn't work. We'd all agree on that. He was a flop at Manchester United. He then demands to leave. PSG come and sign him 12 months later, and they refused to pay the 75 million. They only paid us 63 million. And now, 9 years later, PSG is saying to us, oh, no. We want the full 60 million that we paid Sporting Lisbon. It just doesn't make sense. And I saw some people talking about this on another podcast yesterday where, like, there is some sort of underlying feeling that obviously PSG are owned by Qatar, aren't they? And PSG maybe see it as an insult if they were to sell him to Manchester United. Like there's this bad relationship now between Qatar and Manchester United, obviously, isn't there? After the failed bid of Sheikh Jassim, and obviously we know that Sheikh Jassim has strong links to PSG and all the rest of it. So yeah, I don't know. I just wonder whether it's more of like an ego thing that they're like, oh no, we're not going to sell him for less than 60. We don't need to sell him. We've got more money than anyone else. Like, we'll just keep him. Maybe it's that. I don't know. It's a weird one because I don't really see why we've been negotiating for 10 weeks and PSG are just repeatedly telling us 60 million, 60 million, 60 million, 60 million. But hopefully the story that I brought you this morning will be a bit of a breakthrough. Hopefully the fact that PSG may be willing to do a loan with an obligation to buy with some sort of loan fee. The thing that I don't really understand about that, though, is like that means that Manchester United will pay what PSG want next summer. So I don't really see how that benefits us, to be honest. Like, we have a fee that we want to pay, 40, 50 million euros. Either we should just pay that now or like just walk away. Because what's the benefit of loaning him for 12 months and then in 12 months paying the money that PSG want anyway? Like that's the thing that doesn't make any sense to me. There is some breaking news coming out in the last couple of seconds, actually, which I want to bring you really quickly. So I'll leave that section on Manuel Ugarte. It's doing my head in now, to be honest. But it is a news show. Obviously, I bring you guys the news, we discuss it, and we see how it goes. But there is some breaking news coming out from the official Manchester United website that the third choice goalkeeper Radek Vitek has left the club on a season-long loan. He is joining Blau-Weiß Linz, Austrian Bundesliga side. So yeah, all the best to him. I hope he goes there and does well. I thought Vitek looked really good in the preseason, and I'm kind of disappointed that he's not had an opportunity, but Onana's the number one goalkeeper. Onana's trusted by Ten Hag. And, you know, I hope Andre Onana succeeds this season. You know, I want nothing more than us to get the best out of Andre Onana. That's all that we can do. So, yeah, hopefully Radek Vitek does well. Wish him all the best on his loan. So, yeah, I'll keep you updated on the Manuel Ugarte situation. But at the moment, it's just the same. It's frustrating. Hopefully there's a breakthrough in the negotiations very, very soon. But at the moment, it just feels like we're going round in circles. There's a little bit of breaking news coming out from The Athletic as well, saying that Chelsea are set to make an approach for Jadon Sancho before the end of the transfer window. That could completely blow the window open, couldn't it? If Chelsea come in for Jadon Sancho. Apparently, Manchester United are asking for 40 million for Sancho. I think Sancho has to be moved on, to be honest. I know we've spoke about Sancho so much on the channel. I just think that the best thing for everybody is for Sancho to leave. You know, he's clearly not happy at Manchester United. He clearly doesn't want to be here. I think he's going to be a toxic person in that dressing room, to be honest. All it takes is one game where he gets dropped or he comes off the bench early, and I think that could be it for him, you know? And I just don't think he's done enough in the 3 or 4 years that he's been here to warrant another chance, for me personally. So if I'm Manchester United, I'm actively pushing Jadon Sancho out of the club. Obviously, you want to get your money for him. I get that. You want to make sure you get your £40 million. But yeah, let's hope and pray that Chelsea do actually come in for him. I don't understand why Chelsea need him, but yeah. Flying Dutchman says, Kieran, after we sign Ugarte, do you think we'll sign anybody else? I think it all depends on who leaves. I think if say Sancho leaves, if Eriksen leaves, if Hannibal leaves, if McTominay leaves, like say Eriksen, Hannibal and McTominay leave, I think we'll get 2 midfielders. If Sancho leaves, I think we'll get another attacking player. I think at the moment, let's just work on the assumption that no one's going to leave. People will leave, but just for argument's sake. So let's work on the assumption that nobody's going to leave. Okay? If nobody leaves, I think our only signing will be Manuel Ugarte. If people leave, I think we will go and spend more money, I think. But yeah, I'm not really sure. Maybe a free agent signing? Let's have a look. Let's have a look if there's any free agent signings. Everyone who's still watching the video, could you do me a favour and smash a like? That'd be really, really appreciated. We've got over 1,300 people watching live now. Let's try and see 1,000 likes before I end the video. And we are literally just about to hit 38,600. So please go and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm just going to have a look at free agents that are available at the moment to see if there's anybody that could be of interest to Manchester United. Let's have a look. I know obviously there's Rabiot. I don't know what's going on with Rabiot. I find that situation so weird. So there's obviously Rabiot. There's that Mario Hermoso guy, which has gone very quiet. You've got Andre Gomez. Again, not that exciting. You've got... I mean, there's not really anybody else. You've got Mats Hummels. No. James Rodriguez. Again, no. 33 years of age. I think the most realistic option out of all of those players that are on the list is probably Adrien Rabiot. And also... the Hermosa guy, but again, I think unless we let a centre-back go, I just don't really see how Manchester United would do that deal or why they would do that deal. So yeah, let's have a look if there's any other little stories coming up. So obviously Sanderberg, not happening. Pelistri's about to go to Greece, we know that. David Hanko is another option, but I mean, he can play at left-back, can't he? That could be interesting. Obviously Chido Obi-Martin. Yeah, I mean, most of our links now are just Manuel Ugarte. Like, that's clearly the priority. That's who Manchester United want. So, yeah, we'll see. Answers, Kieran, I'm getting the feeling now that we won't sign Manuel Ugarte. I don't know why, I just have a feeling. I mean, to be fair, right? If PSG don't bring the price down, we won't sign Manuel Ugarte. I agree. And maybe PSG just say, no, we'll keep him. We don't need your money. We're the richest club in the world. We have unlimited money. Like, purely just from an ego, pride perspective, PSG might just turn around and say, you know what, we're not going to sell him to you. It's a strong possibility, you know? It's not like you're buying off a Burnley or a Southampton and they need to sell. PSG don't need to sell. The only reason PSG need to sell is because they have too many players in their squad and that Manuel Ugarte won't play. That's the only reason they need to sell. From a financial standpoint, they're fine. They've got rid of Mbappe, who was on what was Mbappe's wages at PSG? It was millions a week, wasn't it? I think. Let's have a look. So Mbappe earned at PSG he earned 31 million a year. I mean, some teams in the Premier League, their wage bill isn't even that, you know? And they'd have saved so much money from Mbappe's wages that they'll be completely sorted, I think. But, right. I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. Thank you very much for everyone who's joined me. I will be back at 1:30 as normal, and then I'll be back at 6 o'clock as well. Please make sure to leave a like before you exit the channel, the show, whatever you want to call it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Have a lovely day, everybody. This has been Daily Red Devil, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye for now.